Hello everyone, today Ivan is with us. Today we'll ask the questions that have piled up, and we'll save this first question for our private group. Ivan, here's a question right off the bat. Many clients are writing in now asking what's up with trading, why some accounts are in the queue longer than usual, and the queue is building up. Specifically, I'd say it's related to one broker, to IC. What's happening in the market and why is the queue building up?
Yes, it is all actually quite simple. Even though the price of the asset is moving, well, gold, we see that there's actually a very small amount of volatility. The main indicator is the presence of large impulses, which simply aren't in the market right now. I believe major institutional investors are just waiting on the sidelines because of the geopolitical events in the Middle East, and the vast majority of financial capital has been redirected into the oil markets. And there's some uncertainty regarding gold, well, as a reserve capital. Accordingly, everyone seems to be trading oil right now. We trade gold in IC markets, so I'm sure that once the upcoming interest rate decision in America finally passes through, we'll continue trading. I think for the main big wallets that trade, it'll be clear that a significant amount of much needed clarity has finally appeared in the market, and we'll be able to continue trading with much greater confidence.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll specifically cut this answer and post it in the group. And now for the questions from our group that our community members have sent directly over to us. We'll run through them right now. Ivan, the only thing is I'd like a very short answer at the beginning, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Right, and if there is, then we can somehow
Expand on it.
Yes, but at first a shorter version will be more acceptable because I track the data. People just click their way quickly through everything step by step. I'll post time codes for the questions since these questions are asked quite frequently. So the first question, why don't 90% of the arbitrage robots that we have on the market and in the marketplace in general earn money?
Well, to put it briefly, it seems like everyone is still using technology from back in 2010. Probably nothing has changed since then. And plus, everyone still relies on LMX as a fast data feed, or at most, they use Rhythmic from New York. Rhythmic remains the standard.
Is that CME?
It is the CME group, yes, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and both are looking quite bad. Bad from all sides because these feeds are already outdated. Everything has grown technologically long ago. We've traded with LMAX so many times and earned, and they even canceled our profits several times. And people come to us and say that they're going to go earn money using LMAX now. No, the market is competitive, the market is growing. Plus, the technology used in comparing quotes is, in principle, fundamentally wrong from a certain point of view. The whole market is driven and influenced by big capital. And capital constantly shifts the direction of movement and the formation of impulses. Meanwhile, our competitors themselves all just use a basic and straightforward comparison of quotes. And that is basically wrong. Because a spike can occur, the price shot up and rolled back. Additionally, it is worth noting that they do not compare specific time intervals. For their systems, if a signal appears, it is simple, but for us, looking at the gap between the fast and slow feeds, specifically between the broker and the fast feed, we are only looking at a duration of 5 milliseconds. Yes, we saw the signal, we went in, but the probability that we'll enter and earn something there is zero. And most of them work like that. I mean, they're completely and utterly technologically obsolete. They have incredibly sluggish data feeds, and none of them want to take any meaningful action to fix the situation. The most that you and I see, you probably know this. People come and ask, what feeds do you have? Give us the name.
Typical.
Especially, give us what you have in New York. Tell us, why do you use this? What are your features? But the funniest thing is, we provide instructions where all the functions are written. Even the commands and their methodology are described, how they can be recreated. Nobody does that. People don't want to figure it out. People want to come in, make money quickly, and leave. That is the primary reason. And the short reason is, it is the fundamental inability of individuals to successfully integrate into current realities. I mean, nowadays, brokers have started catching on much faster, and these brokers have started identifying these patterns. And of course, it is essential to keep up with the changing times. You should use strategic trading between two different accounts and mask your trading activities carefully. Nobody has recreated the Martin strategy yet. Basically, although there are people who still use it, and this technology, it allows for covert earning. because in a large number of orders, the essence isn't visible. The same applies to hidden plus and other strategies.
Yes, I see.
Yes, that really turns out to be a very detailed answer.
I understand. Yes. Yes, with advanced technology and with feeds. To put it simply, it comes down to technology and feeds. I mean, that's the foundation. This is what the current software system is based on.
Yes. And another important point, market trends. I mean, what is that? You can't trade all the time sitting on some euro dollar if your main volatility is on gold, or if your volatility is on oil. Many are used to trading a single index. Listen, guys, indices were completely swallowed up and processed long ago. They adapted, configured various plugins, and execution. These instruments currently, in the current realities, work worse. So you just have to accept it, set it aside, and move on. It's no secret to you that year after year we trade new instruments.
Of course, it's visible in the reports.
Futures. In the past, we traded gold, we traded various ETFs, and we even traded oil. So we actually do a lot of different things. We trade a wide variety of assets. For instance, quite recently, it was Forex, where we actively traded many different currencies. I mean, people basically stopped trading currencies, but you and I, we actually made over $600,000 with the whole team this past summer, and we took every single bit of it for ourselves. When you tell someone, they say, no way, currencies don't work well. Well, how do they not work? It's a matter of approach.
Yeah, we definitely remember when we promised to record a video about Forex late last year.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still in our plans. We'll definitely record it. From the first question and your answer, we flow smoothly into the second question. Just 3 words. Brokers hate arbitrage.
Yes, that's right.
And what are your thoughts? Do you believe they are really using some advanced tools to find arbitrage opportunities, specifically in the field of arbitrage trading? I mean, artificial intelligence.
Take a look at this. We can actually start from 2 types of brokers available right now.
Yes, that is correct.
The first model is A-book, while the second is B-book.
Mm-hmm.
An A-book is where all trades are routed directly to a liquidity provider, to various banks, and the broker simply earns a small commission.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look at the second option, which is B-book, where the broker is acting directly as our counterparty. In the first case, the broker is primarily focused on generating commissions and would be very happy to earn them, but there is a significant catch to consider. Their liquidity provider asks them to take some specific action.
Yes, exactly.
So in this specific situation, in the case of an A-book model, the broker is actually on our side. They are genuinely interested in our success. But the main thing for them is ensuring that the liquidity provider accepts our orders without any issues, and then no further questions arise for us or for them, and they can easily pay out our profit. A very cool and relevant example of this is, for instance, if you remember the company known as Axie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking back at when we made a very significant amount of money over there, especially when using our partner's primary account, we actually earned a massive profit where we grew the balance from just $500 to a total of $100,000. And the only thing was they said that we'll send a request to the liquidity provider. They need to check the history. If every single detail aligns perfectly with what is absolutely essential and critically important for them, they will willingly provide us with the necessary funding. After the thorough check, when they saw that the trades were from 1 minute and all orders met their requirements, they gave us the money. So that effectively concludes our first specific case study. And the broker is on our side. The second scenario to consider is when it's a B-book. Of course, the broker is highly and deeply invested in actively discouraging and avoiding every single trader who makes a consistent profit. Arbitrage and basically high-frequency trading can be detected through artificial intelligence. It's not that hard. It was done before. With highly specialized technology-focused brokerage platforms like, for example, Forex.com, you could certainly make a significant amount of money with them. And we successfully generated those results back in 2014 and 2015, making 10 or 20 times the initial profit during a single intensive European DAX trading session. Those were really great times. They learned their lesson and hired staff who, in just 30 minutes, could spot any arbitrageur. Based on my experience, it takes about 30 minutes, and then you will get caught. But we adapted and managed to profit within those 30 minutes during peak volatility.
During NFP?
Yes, that is true. So, of course, AI will certainly help. They can flag potential issues. But what can they actually do to solve them? Point out that there are short trades here. There are plugins now. Those basically filter through various accounts and clearly indicate exactly where. Well, they show that there are short trades. Then the manager carefully makes the final decision. Can this be automated? Yes, it certainly can, but I don't think it will provide any significant or major competitive advantage.
Uh-huh.
What else did I want to say about this? In the past, everyone said it used to be easier. But no, it was the same then as it is now. Technology is constantly advancing at a rapid pace, and if you stay current and keep pace with these changes, you manage to make money. If you're stuck using outdated technology from 2010, then of course it's extremely difficult to succeed in today's market.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
All right. And continuing our discussion on AI, plugins, and those unwilling brokers who don't want to pay out legitimate profits, one of the technical tools frequently utilized in these cases is slippage.
Yes.
Many people often ask this important question: is it possible for us to bypass slippage entirely? And exactly how do brokers use slippage to their advantage, to avoid paying out profits or to prevent people from making money?
There are two distinct and different types of slippage. First is natural slippage, which often occurs when they, for example, increased execution time or connected a different liquidity provider, and we simply can't enter at the price we wanted in time. We see an arbitrage signal, we try to enter, we're too late, and we're opened with slippage. That's the first type of slippage. The second type is what is known as artificial slippage. There are plugins that create artificial slippage above a certain volume, and others that just create it for every single trade. So if you open a trade, you're down 50 cents on gold at both the opening and the closing. So you're down $1, no matter how much profit you make, they will deduct that single dollar from your account. On the chart, it is going to look like you entered at non-existent prices with arrows appearing off the edges of the chart. So that is how that specific method actually works. Quite often, brokers only use one method to fight back, a legal one, so to speak, and that's increasing execution time. They just slow down the execution. Consequently, we don't have enough time to enter, and that's it. So we end up with a negative entry point.
Yes, indeed.
And do we have any methods? Yes, we certainly do. There are actually certain technological imperfections and systemic inefficiencies within various brokers that we generally try to keep quiet about. This is because when you truly understand the intricate details of how they process individual price ticks and exactly how the entire order opening sequence is handled, you realize there are specific fleeting moments where you can enter the market where the resulting slippage will be many times less than what is typically expected.
Yeah, that's right.
So those options exist. For the clients who choose to come to us, they receive all of this important information at any time as needed. So let me provide you with a helpful example of how this works. And I know that we'll definitely get to this question. And plus, you and I have already discussed IC markets. We have a client who everyone says that we don't help our clients. We have a client who has already bought 4 licenses and continues to work and makes a profit in IC markets. We provided him with tips. He configured the system, and specifically by following the guidance we offered, technologically, he bypasses partial slippage. So he experiences a bit of slippage, but he pockets all of the rest as profit. So yes, it's possible, but for that, you need to understand how it works.
Okay, so knowing that we can bypass slippage, well, again, within reasonable limits, apparently.
Yes.
One very basic question frequently comes up. And as often as comments are left under the video, is arbitrage dead? Can you make money with arbitrage?
I hear that every year.
Indeed.
I heard it back in 2014. Back in 2013, just so you can truly understand the scale of it, starting in 2013, from an initial deposit of only $60 with the broker Forex4U, I managed to grow that amount until I reached $8,000, and I eventually used all of those profits to buy a piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
My first piece. From $60. Can you imagine? I did that in a month and withdrew it all and through cent accounts.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And back then I read on forums that it doesn't work anymore. And every year we make money. Every year people come. Who are these people? How I see it usually. Either those people who want to believe and accept for themselves just to be at peace that arbitrage no longer works. And they see that, yes, it doesn't work here, it doesn't work there, and they drop the subject. But there are people who come, engage in active trading for a month, 2 or 3, carefully evaluate 20 brokers with $100 each, They might even end up losing $500 or $600. They find one broker, and that broker makes them 500,000, and they withdraw it. Just keep in mind from the examples, we had a client who later reached out to complain to us about Fix API, who successfully earned 1.5 million in Switzerland with our robot. He later complained that our software doesn't work, even though he made 1.5 million with it. Here's an example. But there are many cases like this. In this, when was it? In 2021, they told us it didn't work. Pepperstone.
Basically every year.
An increase of 1.7 million in the year 2023. XE plus over 700,000. Last year, Forex equity plus over 100,000 withdrawn from one account and all paid out. This year, ICA 2026. And every single year, they write and say the exact same thing. People often just get it for free, yeah? Or they simply buy software for just a few pennies.
I mean, some come even when it's not for pennies.
They purchase some software or download it for free. They do not want to take the time to learn, and absolutely no support is provided. And they get disappointed right away, finding that it doesn't work as expected. Well, obviously, in that specific context, it's just not going to work at all.
Yes, I agree. I often hear from people, they write that this system probably does not work anymore, trying to find an excuse for why it failed. This happens because since I mostly talk directly to clients and handle negotiations, most of them feel they can demand almost any information. They might ask for things like an investor password, receipts, or bank statements of deposits, and it seems it does not matter what kind of proof you actually provide.
And they'll still say you faked it, that you entirely made it up.
Yes, that's exactly right. So in my practice, I've actually developed a specific system. If someone has over 20 questions or various complaints, they're simply not the right fit for us. Usually we look for up to 20. I mean, those are the truly well-prepared people.
It's hard to work with them in principle later. A person who resists is difficult.
They bring negativity right away.
Just having MaxBook with verified access won't be enough on its own. Investor password, remember Pepperstone was posted. There was 1.7 million there. Access is likely gone now. It's been 4 years already.
Well, the table is open. It's in our Telegram.
Yes, those accounts are probably history by now. 1.7 is shown openly. Client accounts totaling 350,000 in 2021 or 22 posted openly with passwords. There were 20 brokers there. Everything is open. No, it doesn't work. Well, that's exactly why many individuals have that particular perspective. I mean, we have a certain group of loyal clients who've been consistently generating income for years. They understand perfectly that it works and they do it quietly. Nobody writes anything. They really don't talk about it at all. They just do their job and earn many times over, more than if they went to some regular job.
Yes, and that's it. Yes. Also, many ask about some kind of closed community. In my experience, people who earn won't be chatting. And moreover, there are clients who don't want to do it themselves. They are paying not just to use the product, but for the exclusive privilege of gaining entry into a closed group where they provide strategic data for management. And what is more, they have no desire to spend any of their time trading, and they also strongly prefer that no one should ever uncover their identities or know of their existence.
Yes.
So, someone sitting around and describing, you can make money with this broker, guys, here are the settings. Unfortunately, in this business, I don't think that will ever happen. You might often see this specific situation happening. In my experience, I see it with the newcomers who are looking to create their own unique products. They work to develop their own proprietary trading systems, like arbitrage ones, while trying to do something very similar to our own system. They then move forward to launch their initial beta testing phase. There's a lot of discussion in the group, and that lively discussion only lasts until someone figures out how and where to make money. That is, 1, 2, or 3 people are talking, while everyone else is just waiting for information. So it never ended well. No matter how hard we try to launch such private groups, there won't be any communication there.
Yes, back in the years of 2014 and 2015, we actually hosted a very active community forum directly on our official website, which at that particular time was known as newhopeia.com. There was a forum. There were more than over 300 people on the forum. Out of those 300 people, only I and 3 other members were actually posting content, and it all just boiled down to a blacklist where they don't pay out. But as for where you could actually make money, no one wrote about that. So everyone was just waiting. I was the sole individual back then actively distributing brokers and providing specific settings. And in my personal experience, after about a month, the broker would completely cease to function properly because everyone would rush in and start using the exact same strategy. Now, just imagine the broker sees that you have 200 accounts over there in that system. They opened accounts and trade with one strategy and they're losing money. Of course, they notice this very quickly. So for the most part, our clients are largely hidden from view. But when we provide brokers, we often provide brokers like FX Pro, and FX Pro has been working for 7 months now. They have 1,000 accounts a week there. Of course, they'll keep working and you can make money with them. It's just that for some reason, the network in London has gotten bad lately. The internet delays have appeared. And because of that, some accounts are performing poorly. Overall, it's working just as it always has.
Yes, but that's more of a question for the data centers and IT companies that provide their services. Okay. Fifth question. So why exactly does IC markets function effectively while various other brokerage firms or another broker simply doesn't work? Why can we execute our trades through IC, but for example, not with another? Why specifically can't our system work on all brokers across the board?
That is a question that actually carries a double meaning. To begin with, let us look at the first point. Many brokers, as a general rule of thumb, will void or cancel out any trading profits of this size in most cases. Among the simple ones, I can mention the fulfillment by seller model. That is, back when we were operating on the Chinese FP marketplace, during the time when it worked and worked well, and then they just suddenly started canceling 20 or 30,000 orders. So the broker is quite large, but it starts canceling big money under any pretext. So an IC market is a very large broker, very large. And we truly believe, and I am personally and sincerely convinced, that it is an A book model. They provide this money without any further questions or complaints simply because their counterparty is a major bank and they possess technologically very fast execution speeds. And in these few, let us say, tiny milliseconds, we manage to wedge ourselves in by using a certain specific technology. That is essentially it. That is, and when we go, well, let me give you a clear example. Take Pepperstone, for instance. We traded oil on it, withdrew 10,000 and sometimes 20,000 every day for a very long time. The broker, after a quarter, apparently submitted reports and decided to protect itself. It set the execution to 30 milliseconds on gold, on indices, and it's hard to work there now. Why? Because we move at 100 milliseconds and the execution is 30 milliseconds. It slips. This doesn't mean that it happens everywhere. It just means that you need to sort through and look for options. And of course, for us, acting as a very large broker, or rather for a major established company that must trade and work responsibly with our investors' money, first of all, when dealing with such big money and our own significant capital that we must trade, we absolutely must be certain that they will pay us back in full. This is essential for our security. We've been trying to find large-scale companies for a considerable amount of time lately because it's one thing to trade with, I don't know, a firm like Bullwaves,
Where
you'll, well, earn 1,000 and withdraw it. But how many of those accounts will we make? We'll withdraw 1,000 each. 10 or 20 accounts. Well, we'll earn 20,000 trading 20 accounts. If we make 5 to 10,000, they'll cancel everything because it's likely a B book, so it's not our volume. And that is the primary reason why we are focusing on working only with major, highly reputable brokers now. And in the very near future, I believe we will be trading and collaborating with the world's largest exchanges. This is because, from a sophisticated technological perspective, we have reached a point where our internal latency speeds and advanced entry detection systems have progressed so much that we can now consistently execute trades within a window of just 5 to 10 milliseconds. Open and close. If you can recall back to when we traded Wanda, our trades were exactly 16 thousandths of a second for opening and closing. This essentially means that we managed to enter and exit within that very short time. So I think in the very foreseeable future, we'll transition over to the exchanges. Then we'll be able to fully manage and utilize the large capital of our investors.
Yes. So again, briefly, why does IC work while others don't? To put it in very simple terms, first, the technology makes this possible. Absolutely no one ever interferes with the trading process. Second, they don't artificially slow it down. Third, it works with large companies. Smaller platforms can also work, but again, you won't earn much there, and you won't be able to withdraw much.
But then again, yes, for personal goals. I mean, if someone opens 2 or 3 accounts for friends and family for personal use and withdraws 1,500 to 2,000, that's decent money for them. For us, it's just a large scale. We need to work with big money.
Yes, I agree. All right. Interesting question. What do brokers do with profitable traders? Again, under what conditions is unclear, but usually in which brokers. Some people might immediately shift you to toxic flow, and that is all there is to it.
I can tell you honestly right now what they do with profitable traders.
They don't give the money back.
The first and most important point,
It's a multifaceted answer.
to be completely honest with you, I can explain every single detail for you step by step. First, if we're talking a book, they'll keep us until the very end if the provider is satisfied with the quality of our trading.
Yes, a manager will call you.
Your account manager will give you a call, practically kissing your heels. Please keep trading. They get a commission from all of this, so they're extremely interested in your activity.
There was a 50% profit share.
Of course, let's talk about arbitrage. It generates such a massive trading volume and so much commission that 100 regular clients wouldn't create in 6 months. They certainly earn a lot of money from those activities. Moving on to the next point, we've covered A book, so now let's look at B book. We are the ones making the money while the brokers are the ones losing it. To those brokers, it really doesn't matter what specific assets you're trading in the market. You just have to accept this reality right now because the crypto market has started competing very heavily with traditional Forex. There are probably 10,000 different Forex brokers operating out there right now at the very least. There are a vast number of brokers, and the reality of the situation is not everyone can make money all the time. The pool of clients is not an infinite resource. And so the competition in the market is steadily growing. Because of that intense competition, a single lead or even just one client has become more expensive to acquire. Consequently, brokers are trying to cut back on their expenses. How can they cut them? First and foremost, by canceling profits, because a mere 10% of all clients, at most 10% max, actually end up making a consistent profit, especially over the course of the long term. And what is significantly easier to do with these specific clients? Simply find a convenient reason to cancel their profit. Let me give you a quick list of reasons why this happens. Common reasons for profit cancellation include trading with an automated bot or making an excessive number of trades at once. We also look for unclear trades that we believe violate our established rules without any explanation. Some of these cases involve violating rules regarding specific trading minutes. Additionally, some accounts are flagged for abnormal profit levels. We have seen this happen before, where the system indicates that the profit levels achieved were simply unrealistically high for the market. That was the exact and specific way that it was worded. One of the most completely ridiculous and absurd examples I encountered was, let me think, we believe you are using an automated artificial intelligence agent.
Specifically for the purpose of trading.
I mean, we just had 1,000 trades in 2 days. They write to us, you're using AI for trading. Okay. And there are many reasons like that. But let me tell you something even more important. Most brokers really do not care at all what you trade. Many brokers will just gladly take any profit you happen to make. They are ready to cancel a single manual trade that has remained open for over half an hour. When people come to us and explain that the two-leg strategy really works, they emphasize that these systems pay out because you are trading on 2 entirely different accounts or separate brokers. It is a legal approach that generates great profit. And the best part is that you can easily withdraw your earnings at any time. No, that's not true. I'll tell you more. We had a case where we used two-leg technology, but how exactly did we do it? We took 2 separate trading accounts, opened a buy on one and a sell on the other, then transferred the entire balance to one account, leaving 10% in the second, and finally restored the original balance. The one we were restoring, they gave us the profit, well, sort of as a deposit. But the one where we earned with a single trade just by holding, they canceled it. The broker simply canceled it and didn't want to pay 90% of the profit that we made there in 2 days. Situations like this happen all the time. So you shouldn't think it's only arbitrage. No. The vast majority of traders, I'd say roughly 99% of them, have almost never actually been in profit zones where they consistently and systematically withdraw their earned funds. And they simply don't encounter what we've been dealing with for decades now.
So we have this question. Why do most people not make money?
Fears, mindset,
By the way, we have,
psychology.
in fact, there were business clients before who weren't making any money and always
With our robot,
with us, yes.
psychology. Now, the single most crucial element to understand from a psychological, emotional, and mental framework is that you must give yourself absolute and unrestricted permission to earn. This is very important for your personal development and your future financial success. You opened accounts with 10 brokers. 9 brokers refused to let you withdraw your profit. Well, okay. With the first 5 brokers, you couldn't get set up, so you dropped them. That's already a disappointment. You didn't earn anything and even lost a certain percentage. In the next 5, or let's say 4 trades, you actually earned money, but then they suddenly canceled your profit. This is a very, very heavy mental burden for some people to carry, especially for beginners. Because you earned it, you're already making big plans and you're already spending those $20,000 on a new car or a large TV or on some other nice purchase.
We actually had a case recently where clients were earning, but they weren't being paid. That's an interesting fact, by the way. Well, it's perfectly clear that right now, when you buy, if you're actually buying, we have a full license agreement on the site, and absolutely everything is clearly spelled out right there. But then again, it's hard to prove here that the system doesn't work. I mean, the clients agreed that the system doesn't work, but meanwhile, it did earn, yet they weren't paid. So who's right and who's wrong in this situation? Technically speaking, everything, both technically and legally, everything works.
We cannot influence the decisions of a third party.
That's for sure. Yes, 100%.
We cannot accept responsibility for decisions made by a third party in principle. From our perspective, we provide fast and efficient price quotations, software maintenance, software updates, and comprehensive technical support. Everything we provide is a turnkey solution. We also provide the brokers where it works.
And
We provided those clients with brokers where they
earned money there, I mean. They just weren't paid for some reason.
that's the whole point. Yes. So of course there is such a factor. And so we're getting to it. So we ended up discarding 5 brokers. With 4 others, we actually made a profit but simply couldn't withdraw it. And finally, the 10th one earned and successfully withdrew the funds. But to get through this entire chain of 10 brokers, you have to be mentally prepared and psychologically calm about failing those 9 stages.
They usually quit after the first 2.
Yeah, that's the whole point. What this means is that psychologically, you have to focus on the final result that you're going to get. But when you, and especially clients, see the very first sign of resistance or difficulty, they give up, and who do they blame for it? Well, anyone but themselves.
Right?
That's the whole problem. And
And they're constantly demanding guarantees.
yeah, well, we do give guarantees. But why is it that when someone says, give me a refund, we have about 5 clients of ours who requested a full refund and we traded for them? How is it that with the same software we sold them, we could trade, earn, and they withdrew their money, their license was cut, and they left happy? Why were we able to do it, but they simply couldn't? It's just psychological mindset and experience.
Wow.
In a situation like this, the experience is acquired through consistent volume.
Yeah. So once again, for those who are just starting out as beginners, okay, well, that specific point is now perfectly clear. I would really like to move right on to the next important topic. We are going to discuss 5 common trader mistakes that can completely kill your arbitrage opportunities. But I'd say it's not killing arbitrage. It probably means killing the broker. We don't talk about this often. Why did we sometimes hide brokers in the past? If everyone comes in and starts trading,
That's the first point.
and why exactly does the system stop working with that specific broker?
Yes, I always,
For example, with IC, but it's essentially a question of withdrawal time. Once we cross the threshold of, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 million in withdrawn funds from liquidity, I'm not talking about our,
earnings,
about all.
and they'll hit a main trigger,
Yeah, changes will happen immediately. So
either cancellations or they'll start messing with execution or something else, but they'll do something because they can't lose forever. They,
can't.
there has to be some, well,
Or if their market maker is constantly earning, then they can.
yes, in total, yes. If,
It stays perfectly in balance, then they can do so.
of course. For that, they need to be getting a lot of commission, meaning it has to be incredibly profitable for them. We have to the traders. So they have to earn so much from our commissions that they're willing to tolerate us. And the fact that the brokers earn many times more from us than from all other clients, even considering
What I'm referring to is actually the liquidity that internal capital provides.
liquidity is everything. They're in the black.
If that one is always earning,
Yes,
then they're always ready to pay us. They'll see that their IC is going down.
they have a contract.
Though it's otherwise,
It is much more complex than that. There is a contract with the broker, and the broker is obligated to fulfill all the terms, for example, except for high frequency trading.
sure.
It is essentially considered their obligation. And they are required to do some work and demonstrate the results to the liquidity provider to report that they did it and that they turned it off. Because if it's all left to chance, then no one will be responsible for it. So we would be able to trade forever. So those are the conditions.
Okay, well, let's summarize the question. So first, as we understand it, it's the scale. That is, most clients come in and start working with one broker
Yes, of course.
and withdraw accordingly the profit.
For the broker, it's a big loss. He sees it and records it. If it's a B book, accordingly, he makes a very radical decision to configure specific plugins, increase execution time, increase spreads, or take other similar measures so that the flow of this aggressive traffic decreases.
Yep,
So that's the primary thing. And the second point why brokers die is high competition. Because with the steady growth of market competition, the broker really needs to satisfy and fulfill his own specific professional requirements.
uh-huh,
Accordingly, they will try to adjust. If before they could give 10,000 without any hesitation, no questions asked, then after the dealing desk reduced risk management controls, they will only give 3,000 maximum. So that's also happening.
uh-huh.
And the second point to consider is the shift in market changes. So you were working in that environment and you had a situation much like we have now, where gold was working effectively as a primary hedge against the volatility.
Yes,
Volatility dropped. And it seems like we can no longer earn as much with our technology as we used to. Now oil is working, oil needs to be set up. Some brokers have set up one instrument, it works, others don't. Execution is high, something else. So the broker died, that's it. Then you take this broker and put him on your list. And when volatility rises, you come back and can continue trading this instrument. There are those who do that.
that is good. And now let's move on to our final important question.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorite questions. And it is the question I hear most often. How much money can you actually earn with arbitrage?
Millions.
Millions, billions.
Millions, millions, millions. We show by our own example that it is absolutely possible to succeed. But you, as an individual, as a trader, must understand that you simply cannot do everything on your own. In our team, there is a specific person responsible for, say, obtaining the necessary licenses, for filing all the company documents, and so on. He handles those complex issues. Another person on our team handles communication with clients and investors, sends out invoices. Then there's me acting as the primary trader who basically trades nonstop. I can sit there for 20 hours straight without ever turning off the computer to rest because I have 18 different VPS instances open and we're constantly busy trading. Plus, I have an assistant. There's also a dedicated developer and actually several developers as well. We are constantly in touch with them, supporting their work and catching any bugs that appear. For example, the MetaTrader protocol updated, a few minor things suddenly broke. It requires an immediate and urgent fix. We end up sitting there for a week fixing it. There's a different kind of error. The data stream changed the volume processing method. I won't go into details. It's complicated. Technologically, it changed. So we urgently need to change the impulse calculation principle. We changed it. Everything's working again. These little things, they're invisible. They're all hidden, but there are so many of them. And so as a team, we earn millions. If you take a single independent private trader,
A civilian. Like, I've arrived, I want.
we have examples of people who earned $500,000, $1 million, and actually withdrew it. It's not a common occurrence, meaning
No, not all the time.
you can find a couple of reliable and established brokers, specialized liquidity providers, banks, or other financial institutions where you can just go and consistently generate profits of around $500,000 or even $1 million. Such cases do exist.
And on the quiet side too.
Yes.
Don't tell anyone about it. The common mistake that the vast majority of people make when they first start is they
burst into chats, knocking brokers off their feet.
write,
And then they didn't pay, it's not working, it's broken. That also comes with experience.
and then there's a completely different group of individuals who come and simply sit there patiently waiting to receive detailed information on brokers. They only use information that we've already verified. Though looking at others like the ones Ivan just mentioned, who could earn more than $500,000 on their own. Yeah, that guy used Fix API as far as I remember.
Yes.
But then again, he found that company himself, set it up himself, didn't tell anyone about it, and didn't ask anyone for anything. It is completely unknown to us exactly how much time he spent on the setup and parameter selection. But the fact remains, after 6 to 8 months, this individual simply sent over a photo showing he'd purchased the exact dream property he had always wanted and a brand new Porsche. That's it. He got the latest Cayenne, and
We have many, many more such great examples.
yes, it's just that everyone's approach is very different.
And it's a defining trait. They keep quiet.
Yes,
They just reach out to us later on and write, Ivan, I'm grateful to tears to you and your whole team. You changed my life. These kinds of messages, they come in periodically, though quite rarely. But when people write honestly and sincerely, it's very gratifying because we have people who've successfully moved to new countries, meaning the person wanted to leave. He lived there in Kazakhstan. No, not Kazakhstan. He originally lived in Georgia, but always wanted to move to Europe. So he eventually flew to Lithuania or Latvia, where he bought a house. He lives there now and loves his new life. Similarly, there are others who have moved to England and live there now. There are many examples of people who have completely changed their lives. The thing is, these people just don't talk about it. They,
and more often than not, these people then create their own systems.
but
That is perfectly normal.
that's normal. There's no problem here, no problem at all.
No problems whatsoever. In fact, we're happy.
Specifically for them, it is the ongoing client activity that steadily flows from one form and transitions into another. In other words, he's gained a huge amount of experience. He decided that he could then independently design, build, and develop a robot himself. Maybe he's doing it, it's working out, and he's using it. And from that perspective, he is really great. Why? Because, first of all, he deeply understands his software, he has a lot of professional experience, and he's learned exactly how to make money with it.
And he has his own programmer.
Let him do it. It's great. Let him work. The point is simply that where we work, he won't be able to make money. But locally in his own country, he finds a bunch of brokers that you and I have never heard of.
Yes.
And he found some small bank that decided to set up a Forex division. The regulations allow it. And he took 100 or 200,000 from that bank. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good for him. I'm just happy for him. That's great. Why not? The most important thing to understand is that through his personal experience and hard effort, he went through the stage of earning with our robot, then continued his activity, found a developer, built it, and consistently keeps working even now. That's great
Wow.
because every single time you put in the effort, you are going to see real results. But someone who just takes the software, especially a rental, and says, give me the ready-made sets, the money's about to roll in, and does nothing. You send him one broker, two brokers, give him the presets, he opens it, but he's, say, Chinese, and his account is immediately under a plugin, so it doesn't work. You say, it probably doesn't work for you because your regulations are different. That's it. The broker's crap, the robot's crap, everything's crap. And he doesn't want to do anything. He just sits and waits for someone to hand him something. It depends on the person.
I completely agree. I agree. So, well, I think we'll wrap it up here.
Yes.
I've run out of questions. Thank you, Ivan.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for taking the time to help us clarify these questions. We will be returning very shortly with brand new video updates about the upcoming release. And also look out for my video about traded accounts. I'm gradually adding them to my Facebook. You can see it's constantly being updated. I'll be covering the whole process soon. Thank you, Ivan.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, successful trading to everyone. Bye for now.
Goodbye for now.